The suitcase, the smile, the stranger. The front door clicked open like it had a secret. Mina didn't move from the kitchen at first. She kept slicing strawberries into a glass bowl, slow and careful, like neatness could keep her world from cracking. The house smelled like lemon cleaner and quiet decisions. Then she heard him, a rolling suitcase, 2 sets of footsteps, a woman's laugh, light, careless, too comfortable in someone else's hallway. Mina's hand paused mid-slice. "Babe, we're home." Kareem called out, voice bright with vacation warmth. Vacation. He had said it like it was a blessing, like she should be grateful he needed space, like her questions were nagging, not fear. Mina dried her hands on a towel and stepped into the living room. Kareem stood there in a crisp linen shirt, tanned, smiling like a man who expected applause. Beside him was a woman in oversized sunglasses, glossy hair, and the kind of grin that didn't ask permission. Kareem's arm hovered behind the woman's back, almost touching, almost claiming. "Mina," he said, as if introducing her to a guest. "This is Celine. She traveled with me." Celine slid her sunglasses up. Her eyes swept over Mina like she was judging a couch at a furniture store. "Oh," Celine purred. "So you're the wife." Mina's stomach tightened, but her voice came out steady. "And you're the reason he stopped answering his phone." Kareem sighed dramatically. "Here we go. I told you she'd be like this." Like this. As if Mina was a problem for standing in her own home. Mina studied him. She'd known Kareem for 11 years. She'd watched him build a career out of charm and excuses. But this was different. This was arrogance wearing vacation cologne. "Where's your suitcase?" he asked casually, glancing around. "Why does the place smell empty?" Mina didn't answer yet. She walked to the hallway table where a single envelope sat, clean white, perfectly centered. Kareem noticed it and smirked. "What's that? One of your dramatic letters?" Celine giggled. "He told me you're emotional." Mina picked up the envelope. Her fingers didn't shake. Kareem's smile faltered. "Mina?" She met his eyes. "Before you unpack, you should read that." Kareem scoffed, but he took it. "What is this, some ultimatum?" Celine leaned closer, curious, like a spectator waiting for the punchline. Kareem tore it open. A key fell into his palm. Not a house key, a storage unit key. His eyebrows pulled together. "What is this?" Mina breathed in. The kind of breath you take before stepping off a cliff you chose. "It's the key to where your things are," she said quietly. "Everything you own. Everything you left behind when you decided this house was just a hotel you could check in and out of." Kareem stared at the key, confused now. "What are you talking about? Where's my key?" Mina's gaze flicked to Celine's suitcase, then back to Kareem. "Your key won't work anymore." Celine's smile faded. "Kareem, what does she mean?" Kareem stepped forward, voice rising. "Mina, stop playing games. I'm tired. I just got back." "You did," Mina agreed. "Back to a life you thought would be waiting for you. Back to a wife you thought would forgive you again." Kareem's jaw tightened. "You're going to embarrass yourself in front of her?" Mina surprised herself with a small laugh. It didn't sound bitter. It sounded free. "No," she said. "I'm going to tell the truth in front of her." She walked past him to the living room window. Outside, the street looked normal. Neighbors' sprinklers ticking, a dog barking in the distance. Ordinary life happening while her old life died. "Kareem," Mina said, turning back, "you left on vacation with another woman. You stopped paying the mortgage. You stopped paying the bills. You stopped acting like a husband." Kareem's voice sharpened. "I work. I provide." "You perform," Mina corrected, calm as stone. "And you thought performance could replace responsibility." Celine crossed her arms. "So what? Men cheat. That's not new." Mina looked at Celine and spoke gently, like explaining something to someone who didn't know what love should cost. "Maybe you're used to being someone's secret. I'm not." Kareem slammed the envelope against the palm. "Enough. Where's my key, Mina?" Mina walked to the front door and opened it. The winter air slid in, cold and honest. Kareem frowned. "Why are you opening the—" Mina pointed outside. A moving truck sat at the curb. The side panel read, "Sold and moved. Property transfer services." Two men carried a framed photo out. One Kareem had always claimed made him look important. Celine's mouth fell open. "Kareem, what is that?" Kareem stumbled toward the door, eyes wide now. "Mina, what did you do?" Mina's voice stayed level, but her eyes burned. "I did what you never thought I had the courage to do," she said. "I stopped begging." Kareem's face drained of color. "You can't. This is my house, too." Mina stepped closer, so close he could see the months she'd survived without him. "It was our house," she whispered, "until you treated it, and me, like something you could abandon and still own." Kareem shoved past her, rushing outside. He grabbed one of the movers by the arm. "Hey, put that back. That's mine." The mover pulled away calmly. "Sir, this property has been legally transferred. We're under contract." Kareem spun back to Mina, eyes wild. "You sold the house?" Mina nodded once. "Yes." Celine's voice cracked. "Kareem, you told me you own a luxury home. You told me you were stable." Kareem ignored her. He stepped toward Mina, like a storm trying to reclaim the sky. "You had no right," he hissed. "You can't sell a house without me." Mina lifted her chin. "I didn't sell it without you." Kareem froze. Mina's voice lowered, deadly calm. "I sold it because of you. Because you signed something you didn't read." Kareem swallowed. What did I sign?" Mina reached into her pocket and pulled out a folded document, creased from being held like a weapon for weeks. "The power of attorney," she said. "The one you signed the night you were rushing to catch your flight. The one you said was just paperwork because you trusted your wife and didn't have time for details." Kareem's lips parted. Celine's breath hitched. Mina's eyes didn't blink. "You handed me the steering wheel and then left the car while it was on fire." Kareem lunged forward. "Give me that." But Mina took one step back and held it higher, just out of reach. "You want to know the worst part?" she said softly. "I cried after you left. I begged my own heart to stop loving you. And then I realized something. Love isn't supposed to make you smaller." Kareem's voice turned desperate. "Mina, please, let's talk inside." Mina's gaze slid to the movers, then to Celine, who suddenly looked like she boarded the wrong flight. "There is no inside," Mina said. And then, before Kareem could say another word, her phone buzzed in her palm. A message from an unknown number. "He's on his way. Do not let Kareem leave." Mina's throat went tight. Kareem stared at her phone. "Who is that?" Mina looked up, heart pounding, because she knew exactly what she'd set in motion, and she didn't know who would arrive first, justice or danger. Across the street, a black sedan rolled slowly to a stop, and the driver's door opened. The black sedan and the truth that walked out. The black sedan didn't hurry. It didn't need to. It parked like it belonged there, like it had come to collect something overdue. Kareem's eyes narrowed as the driver stepped out. A man in a charcoal coat, clean-shaven, calm-faced, carrying a slim briefcase like it weighed nothing and meant everything. Celine took a step back, suddenly uncertain. "Who is that?" Kareem's voice was sharp with forced confidence. "Probably some neighbor. Mina's been making friends with the neighborhood gossip club." Mina didn't answer. Her pulse hammered, but her spine stayed straight. She watched the man cross the street with the quiet certainty of someone who didn't knock, because the law had already opened the door. He stopped at the curb and looked at Mina first, not Kareem. "Mina Qureshi?" he asked. "Yes." He nodded once, respectful. Then he turned to Kareem. "And Kareem Ashraf." Kareem's chin lifted. "Who are you?" The man opened his briefcase and removed a folder, thick, organized, and final. "My name is Tariq Hamid. I'm a legal representative for Riverside Holdings and, more importantly today, an investigator assigned to a civil fraud inquiry." The word fraud hit the air like glass breaking. Celine's mouth opened. "Fraud." Kareem scoffed, too loud, too fast. "This is ridiculous. You got the wrong person." Tariq didn't react. He simply flipped the page. "Mr. Ashraf, do you recognize his signature?" He held out a copy of a loan document. Kareem didn't take it. He glanced and sneered. I sign documents all the time. I'm a businessman. Mina's stomach twisted, because she used to believe that sentence meant success. Now she heard it as a confession. He signed anything as long as it fed his image. Tarek turned the paper slightly so Celine could see too. Celine leaned in, then pulled back. Kareem, what is this? Kareem snapped, mind your business. Celine's eyes flashed. You made my business when you dragged me here. Mina watched him fracture and felt something strange. Not joy, not revenge, relief. Like a heavy door in her chest had finally swung open. Tarek addressed Mina again, his tone professional but gentler. Ma'am, you did the right thing contacting us. Your report triggered a review of multiple accounts linked to Mr. Ashraf. Kareem stepped forward, voice rising. What report? Mina, what did you do? Mina held his stare. I told the truth. Kareem laughed, but it sounded like panic trying to disguise itself as humor. Truth? You're just bitter because you humiliated me? Mina finished quietly. Because you left me drowning while you went sunbathing. Kareem's eyes flicked to Celine, then back. Don't make me the villain. You made yourself the villain, Mina said, the moment you decided loyalty was optional. Tarek cleared his throat, bringing the moment back to the point. Mr. Ashraf, you're being served notice. Riverside Holdings is filing for damages related to falsified income reports and misrepresented assets. Kareem's face tightened. I never falsified anything. Tarek flipped another page. Then perhaps you can explain why 3 separate mortgage applications list you as the sole owner of this property, despite your wife's legal stake. Kareem went still. Celine stared at him. You told me the house was yours. Kareem's voice came out hoarse. It's complicated. Mina laughed once, sharp and small. That's what liars say when the truth arrives with paperwork. Tarek handed Kareem the notice. Kareem didn't take it, so Tarek held it out until Kareem's fingers finally snatched it, like the paper offended him. You can't do this, Kareem spat. This is harassment. Tarek's expression didn't change. This is accountability. Kareem turned to Mina, eyes hot. You set me up. Mina's voice was steady, but her eyes glistened. No, I stopped protecting you from consequences. Celine stepped forward, her voice trembling with anger. Kareem, you said your ex was unstable. You said she was dramatic, but you're the one hiding documents, hiding debts, hiding. Shut up. Kareem barked. Celine flinched. Something in her shifted, like she finally saw the man behind vacation photos. Tarek looked at Mina again. Ma'am, the sale of the house was lawful given the executed power of attorney. But I need to ask, did he coerce you into signing any of these related documents? Kareem spun. Coerce? Mina, don't you dare. Mina's voice dropped. He didn't have to coerce me. He trained me. Trained me to shrink my questions, swallow my instincts, and call it love. Kareem's lips curled. You're making me sound abusive. Mina stepped closer, voice firm. Neglect is a kind of abuse. Humiliation is a kind of abuse. Making someone feel like they're lucky to be tolerated, that's abuse too. Celine whispered. Kareem rounded on her. Don't. You don't know anything. Celine's eyes filled with tears. I know you told me you were building a future, but you were just building lies. She grabbed her suitcase handle. Kareem grabbed her wrist. You're not leaving. Mina's heart jumped, but she didn't rush in. She had spent years rushing in, saving, soothing, sacrificing. Not today. Tarek's voice sharpened. Mr. Ashraf, let go of her. Kareem's grip tightened. Celine winced. Kareem, you're hurting me. Mina took one step forward, her voice quiet but iron. Kareem, let her go. For a second, he didn't. His eyes flashed, rage, embarrassment, fear, all fighting for control. Then he released Celine like she was suddenly toxic. Celine stumbled back, breathing hard, and looked at Mina with a complicated expression. Shame, apology, gratitude. I didn't know, Celine whispered. Mina nodded. Now you do. And knowing is how you save yourself. Celine dragged her suitcase down the driveway without looking back. Kareem watched her go, jaw clenched, then turned to Mina, a new kind of desperation creeping into his voice. You think you've won, he hissed. You've just made an enemy. Mina's throat tightened, but she refused to let fear drive her. Tariq closed his briefcase. Mr. Ashraf, you have 48 hours to respond through counsel. Any attempt to intimidate Mrs. Qureshi will be documented. Kareem laughed again, low and ugly. Document whatever you want. He leaned close to Mina, voice like poison. You can sell a house. You can call investigators. But you can't erase me. Mina looked him dead in the eye. I'm not trying to erase you, she said. I'm trying to outgrow you. Kareem's phone rang. He glanced at the screen, and his face changed. Color drained. He answered, voice suddenly cautious. Hello. A pause. Then Kareem whispered, No, that's impossible. Mina watched his hand tremble as he lowered the phone. Tariq narrowed his eyes. Who was that? Kareem's lips barely moved. The bank, he said. They froze my accounts. Mina's breath caught, and then Kareem lifted his head, eyes full of panic and fury. If I go down, he said slowly, I'm not going down alone. He reached into his pocket and pulled out another folded paper. Old, worn, and dangerous. A document Mina had never seen. He shook it slightly, smiling without warmth. You remember your mother's jewelry? He said. The inheritance you kept in the safe? Mina's blood turned cold. Kareem's smile widened. I have the receipt, he whispered. And I know exactly where it went. The receipt and the safe that was empty. Mina felt the driveway tilt beneath her, like gravity itself had shifted sides. My mother's jewelry, she repeated, not loud, because loud would make it real. Kareem waved the receipt as if it were a trophy. You always acted like it was sacred, like it made you better than me. It was my mother, Mina said, voice cracking despite her effort. She died wearing her wedding bangles. She told me, when life tries to break you, hold on to something that reminds you who you are. Kareem's eyes hardened. Touching, but you're not the only one who can make moves. Tariq stepped forward, calm but alert. Mr. Ashraf, if you're admitting theft or unauthorized sale. I'm not admitting anything, Kareem snapped. I'm reminding my wife she doesn't get to play hero and pretend she's clean. Mina's mind raced back through memories. Kareem insisting on upgrading the home safe, Kareem volunteering to organize the documents, Kareem teasing her for checking the lock twice. She had trusted him with her grief. Mina swallowed. The safe is in the closet. It's locked. Kareem's smile was cruel. Go look. For a moment, Mina didn't move. She could almost hear her mother's voice in the quiet. Courage isn't loud. It's the decision to face what you're afraid to see. She turned and walked inside. The house looked different now. Half empty. The walls lighter without the weight of pretending. The closet door creaked like it was reluctant to witness. Mina knelt and spun the safe dial. The code was the same one her mother used for everything meaningful. Her birthday. Click, click, click. The door swung open. Empty. No velvet pouch. No gold bangles. No emerald ring. Just a clean, hollow space. Mina stared until her vision blurred, until her breath came thin. Then, slowly, she stood, closing the safe like she was closing a chapter she'd been forced to reread. When she returned outside, Kareem was watching her face like he could feed on her pain. See, he said softly. Empty, just like this house will be when you're done burning it down. Mina's voice trembled. When did you do it? Kareem shrugged. A while ago. You were too busy crying about love to notice anything else. Tariq's expression turned sharp. Ma'am, we can treat this as evidence in a separate criminal matter. Kareem laughed. Evidence? It's a receipt from a pawnbroker. Could have been anyone. Mina snatched her phone from her pocket and typed quickly, fingers clumsy with grief, a message to her cousin Hina. Do you still have the photos of Mom's jewelry? The ones from Eid. Kareem watched her, amused. What? You're going to post it on social media. Pray for me, my husband is mean? Mina looked up, eyes bright with tears that refused to fall. "No," she said. "I'm going to prove you did it." Kareem's smile faltered. "You can't prove anything." Tarek spoke, measured and firm. "Mr. Ashraf, the receipt you're holding, may I see it?" Kareem folded it quickly. "No." Tarek didn't chase it. He didn't need to. He simply nodded. Refusal noted. Kareem's voice sharpened. "You think you're smart, Mina? You think you're some brave woman now? You sold the house because you had my signature. But that doesn't change the reality." He stepped closer, lowering his voice so only she could hear. "You don't have money," he whispered. "You don't have family power. You don't have connections. You have one dramatic moment, and then you're alone." Mina's chest tightened. That fear had lived in her for years. Being alone, starting over, being judged. Then she remembered the quiet nights she'd spent without him, the mornings she'd survived, the bills she'd paid, the humiliation she'd swallowed. She had already been alone. She had just been married while doing it. Mina lifted her chin. "You're right about one thing." Kareem's eyes narrowed. "What?" "I don't have your kind of connections," she said. "I have something better." Kareem scoffed. "And what's that?" Mina looked him in the eye, steady as sunrise. "A conscience." Kareem's face twisted. "Conscience doesn't pay lawyers." Mina's phone buzzed. A reply from Hina. "Yes, I have all the photos." "Why? What happened?" Mina's fingers tightened around the phone. She breathed in, and when she spoke, her voice didn't shake anymore. "Kareem," she said, "you stole my mother's last gift to me." Kareem shrugged. "Prove it." Mina's eyes flicked to Tarek. "How fast can we file a police report?" Tarek nodded. "Immediately. And we can subpoena the pawn shop records." Kareem's confidence cracked for the first time. "Subpoena? For what?" "Those shops don't keep." Tarek's voice was calm, almost pitying. "They keep more than you think. Video, ID scans, transaction logs." Kareem's jaw clenched. He stared at Mina, calculating, searching for a way out. Then he changed tactics, the way he always did when charm failed. His voice softened. "Mina, listen." Mina's stomach turned. She knew that tone. The "I'm sorry" that wasn't sorry. The "let's talk" that meant let me control the story. "I made mistakes," Kareem said quietly. "Yes, I messed up, but you're destroying everything. You're humiliating me in front of strangers. If you just stop this, we can fix it." Mina's eyes narrowed. "Fix it." He stepped closer, palms open like a man offering peace. "We start over. We sell the house together. Split it properly. I'll pay you back." "You can't pay back years," Mina said. Kareem's voice trembled with irritation under the sweetness. "Mina, be reasonable." Reasonable. The word men use when women refuse to be silent. Mina shook her head. "You don't want to start over. You want to rewind." Kareem's eyes flashed. "You're being stubborn." Mina's voice dropped, fierce and clear. "I'm being free." Kareem's face hardened again. He looked past Mina at the movers, at the sold sign, at Tarek's calm authority. Then he smiled, slow, ugly, certain. "If you file that report," he said, "I'll file my own." Mina frowned. "For what?" Kareem leaned closer, voice like a threat wrapped in silk. "For fraud," he whispered. "For selling the house. For stealing marital assets. For forging my signature, if I have to." Mina's heart slammed. Tarek stepped forward. "That would be a false claim." Kareem shrugged. "False claims still ruin reputations." Mina stared at him, stunned, not by the threat, but by how easily it came, like he'd been waiting to use her fear as a leash. Kareem lifted his phone and tapped the screen. "And if that doesn't work," he said, "I'll do something simpler." He turned the phone toward Mina. A photo. Mina's breath caught. It was her, at a cafe, sitting across from a man Mina didn't recognize, laughing gently, holding a folder. The angle was sneaky. The implication was obvious. Kareem's smile widened. "Who's this, Mina? Your little boyfriend? Your little helper?" Mina's voice went thin. That's... Kareem cut her off. You think people will side with you when I show them this? When I tell them you sold the house because you were cheating? Mina's mind flashed. The man in the photo. The folder. She recognized it now. The realtor. Kareem's voice lowered. Dangerous. I can make you the villain, too. Mina's hands curled into fists. Then her phone buzzed again. A new message from Tariq, sent privately. Ma'am, the pawn shop address on that receipt is linked to a case we're already building. If he used your inheritance, it ties him to a larger fraud ring. Mina's pulse spiked. Kareem thought he had a weapon, but he just handed her a doorway into something bigger, something that could finally bury his lies for good. Mina's pulse spiked. Kareem thought he had a weapon, but he just handed her a doorway into something bigger, something that could finally bury his lies for good. Mina looked up at Kareem, eyes blazing. Go ahead, she said softly. Tell your story. Kareem blinked. What? Mina smiled, small and fearless. Because I'm about to tell mine, and yours is going to end with handcuffs. The pawn shop, the ring, and the moment fear changed sides. Kareem stared at Mina like he was seeing a stranger. You're bluffing, he said, but his voice didn't carry the same arrogance anymore. Mina stepped closer, not aggressive, just unshakable. I'm done being afraid of your mouth. Tariq's phone rang. He answered, listened briefly, then his eyes sharpened. He looked at Mina. Ma'am, can you come with me for a moment? Kareem snapped. She's not going anywhere. Tariq didn't even glance at him. She's going exactly where she chooses. Mina followed Tariq to the side of the driveway. Her breath came fast, but her mind felt strangely clear, like survival had finally become strategy. Tariq lowered his voice. The pawn shop on that receipt is under surveillance. The owner has been cooperating in an investigation into counterfeit gold swaps and fraudulent asset laundering. We suspected your husband's name would surface. Now it has. Mina's stomach twisted. So my mother's jewelry. Tariq nodded. Likely used as collateral or liquidated to cover something bigger. Mina's throat burned. The betrayal wasn't just personal. It was criminal. Behind them, Kareem paced like a caged animal. Celine was gone, the movers continued, and neighbors watched from behind curtains. A whole audience to a man who had always needed applause. Mina turned back to Kareem. You didn't just steal from me. Kareem barked a laugh. Oh, please. Mina raised her voice so the driveway could hear. You stole from my dead mother. Kareem's smile twitched. Control yourself. No, Mina said. You controlled me for years. Kareem's eyes flicked toward the street, like he was checking exits. Fine. You want to play law? Let's play. He lifted his phone again. I'll post that photo right now. I'll tell everyone you had an affair. I'll tell the court you sold the house because you were unstable. Mina didn't flinch. Post it. Kareem froze, surprised. Mina kept going. Because that man is my realtor. That folder is the sale contract. And the cafe has cameras. Kareem's jaw tightened. You think anyone cares about details? People love a scandal. Mina nodded slowly. They do. She stepped forward, eyes locked on his. But they love the truth more when it's backed by evidence. Tariq held up his own phone. We can obtain the cafe footage through a simple request. And your attempt to defame her would be, how should I put it, unwise? Kareem's lips parted. For the first time, he looked small. Then he snapped back into anger. You're all against me. Mina's voice softened, not with pity, just reality. No, Kareem. You're against yourself. You just didn't notice because you were too busy blaming me. A police cruiser rolled slowly down the street. Mina didn't call it. Tariq didn't call it. But it arrived anyway, as if the universe had decided timing mattered. The cruiser stopped at the curb. An officer stepped out, scanning the scene. Kareem's face tightened. This is insane. The officer approached. We received a call about a possible civil dispute and property transfer issue. Tariq produced identification and spoke calmly. Officer, I'm representing Riverside Holdings in a civil fraud inquiry. There is also potential theft involved. specifically stolen inheritance jewelry sold at a pawn shop tied to an ongoing investigation. The officer's posture changed. More alert, more serious. Kareem took a step back. This is ridiculous. She's making it up. Mina's voice was steady. I have photos of the jewelry, and he has a receipt. Kareem snapped. I don't have. Mina pointed. It's in your pocket. Kareem's hand flew to his coat, like it could hide guilt. The officer's voice became firm. Sir, do you have a receipt? Kareem hesitated. Just long enough. The officer held out his hand. Sir. Kareem's eyes darted. Driveway, street, neighbor's cruiser, like a man calculating whether pride was worth handcuffs. He pulled the receipt out slowly and handed it over. The officer examined it. This is from Halston Pawn and Exchange. Tarek nodded. Yes, that's the one. The officer looked at Kareem. Is this yours? Kareem swallowed. I found it. Mina's laugh was soft but cutting. You found it in your pocket? Kareem's face reddened. Shut up. The officer turned to Mina. Ma'am, do you want to file a report for theft? Mina's chest tightened. Filing a report meant making it official. It meant letting the world see what she'd hidden behind polite smiles and family excuses. She thought of her mother's hands placing those bangles in her palm. Thought of the years she'd tried to be a good wife, even when it cost her dignity. Mina nodded. Yes. Kareem's eyes widened. Mina, don't. Mina looked at him. You didn't ask permission when you stole from me. The officer nodded, pulling out a notepad. All right, I'll take your statement. Kareem's voice rose, panic cracking through. You can't do this. I'm your husband. Mina spoke quietly, but every word landed. You stopped being my husband the day you treated my love like a resource you could spend without earning. The officer took Mina's statement. Tarek spoke with the officer aside, likely explaining the link to the broader case. Kareem stood frozen, his world shrinking with every sentence Mina spoke out loud. Then his phone buzzed. He checked it and paled again. Mina saw it. The wave fear slid across his face like sweat. Tarek returned, eyes focused. Ma'am, there's something else. Mina's stomach dropped. What? Tarek lowered his voice. The pawn shop owner confirmed a man matching your husband's description sold jewelry under another name months ago. We have a scanned ID copy, fake, and security footage. If we match the face, this becomes identity fraud as well. Kareem heard enough to explode. No, he shouted. That's a lie. You're all lying. Neighbors stepped outside now. Real faces, real witnesses. Kareem looked around, breathing hard, then suddenly pointed at Mina. This is what she does, he yelled. She destroys people. Mina didn't shout back. She just stepped forward and spoke clearly to him and the street. I didn't destroy you, she said. I stopped covering for you. Kareem's eyes went wild. And then, like a man who realizes he's trapped, he made the one move that proved everything. He tried to run. He bolted toward the street, pushing past a mover. The officer reacted instantly. Sir, stop. Kareem sprinted toward the black sedan, his sedan fumbling for keys. Mina's breath caught. Tarek lunged forward. Kareem, don't. Kareem yanked the car door open, but before he could get in, a second cruiser came around the corner. Faster this time, lights flashing. Kareem froze, one foot inside the car. The officer grabbed his arm. Sir, you're being detained. Kareem twisted violently. Get off me. Mina stepped forward, heart hammering, watching the man who once acted untouchable now wrestle with consequences. Kareem's eyes found hers, blazing with hatred and desperation. You think this is over? He hissed. You think you've won? Mina's voice was calm, but her eyes burned. No, Kareem. Kareem sneered. Good, because I have something you forgot. He leaned in, voice low enough to make Mina's blood run cold. I have your father's signed guarantor papers, he whispered. The ones that tie him to my debts. Mina's breath stopped. Her father, proud, aging, already stressed, had once co-signed something for Kareem years ago. Mina had begged him not to. Kareem had promised it was just for a month. Kareem smiled through panic. "If I go down," he whispered, "your father goes down too." Mina stared, stunned, because Kareem had just revealed his last hostage. And Mina didn't know if the papers were real. But her father's health was. The Guarantor papers and the freedom that didn't ask permission. Mina's mind flashed back to that day. Her father in a simple kurta, reading glasses low on his nose, trusting the man Mina had married. Kareem smiling, promising, swearing. Mina's gut screaming no while her mouth tried to sound respectful. "It's just temporary," Kareem had said. "I'll handle it." Now, years later, Kareem stood half restrained by an officer, whispering threats like they were wedding vows. "I have your father's signed guarantor papers," he repeated, savoring the terror he saw on Mina's face. Mina's hands went numb. Tarek stepped closer. "Mr. Ashraf, you are in no position to negotiate." Kareem laughed harshly. "I'm not negotiating. I'm reminding her that she's not the only one with leverage." Mina's throat tightened. "Where are they?" Kareem's eyes glittered. "Safe place." Mina's mind raced. The storage unit? His office? A digital copy? The officer tightened his grip. "Sir, you're being detained for a questioning related to theft and potential fraud. You can share that information with your lawyer." Kareem spat. "My lawyer will bury her." Mina closed her eyes for 1 second. And in that second, she understood something with painful clarity. Kareem didn't love. He controlled. He didn't build. He took. And he didn't fight to survive. He fought to drag others down so he wouldn't fall alone. When Mina opened her eyes, her voice was steady. "Tarek, can those papers be verified?" Tarek nodded. "Yes. If they exist, there will be records with the lender. If they're forged, that's another crime." Kareem barked. "They're real." Mina looked at him. "Then we verified them today." Kareem blinked. "Today?" Mina nodded. "Right now. Because I'm not living under your threats for 1 more hour." Tarek turned to the officer. "With your permission, we can accompany Mrs. Qureshi to collect relevant documents and ensure her safety." The officer nodded. "We can assign an escort if needed." Kareem's face twisted. "You can't just—" Mina cut him off gently. "Watch me." That was the moment Kareem realized he couldn't scare her back into silence. The officer placed Kareem in the cruiser. Kareem thrashed verbally even as the door shut, shouting Mina's name like it was a curse. Mina stood still as the cruiser pulled away, lights flashing, neighborhood staring. Her knees threatened to buckle, but she refused to collapse in front of the very house where she had begged for respect. Tarek spoke softly. "Ma'am, do you have somewhere safe to go tonight?" Mina looked at the empty doorway, the movers finishing their last items. The sold, paperwork already sealed. "I do now," she said. They drove to the small storage unit Mina had rented weeks ago. Quietly, carefully, inside were Kareem's suits, his watches, his trophies of image. Boxes labeled neatly in Mina's handwriting. "Kitchen, office, Miss." But Mina wasn't searching for his things. She was searching for the truth. In a box labeled documents, Kareem, tucked beneath old tax folders, Mina found a slim envelope. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside were photocopies of loan agreements, and a page with a signature, her father's name. Mina's stomach dropped. Tarek leaned in, scanning it. "This appears to be a guarantor's signature page." Mina whispered, "It's real?" Tarek's face remained calm, but his eyes turned sharp. "It's a copy, not the original. But we can use this to locate the lender and confirm the terms." Mina's mind spun. Debt, liability, her father's home, his savings, his peace, threatened by a man who treated family like collateral. Mina's phone rang. "Baba." She answered with a breath she had to force. "Hello?" Her father's voice was warm and tired. "Beta, are you okay? Your aunt called. She said there were police outside your house." Mina closed her eyes. The love in her father's voice broke her more than Kareem's cruelty ever could. "Baba," she whispered, "I need to tell you something." There was a pause. "Tell me." Mina's voice shook. "Kareem used your signature on a guarantor paper years ago. He's been hiding it. He tried to use it to threaten me today." Her father exhaled slowly, like he'd been carrying a weight he didn't name. "I knew," he said quietly. Mina's eyes snapped open. "You knew?" Her father's voice softened. "Not the details. But I knew he was not a man of honesty. I signed because you begged me to give your marriage a chance. I didn't want to be the reason you walked away." Mina swallowed hard. "Baba, I'm so sorry." "No," her father said, firm now. "Listen to me. A father's job is not to protect a marriage. It is to protect his daughter's soul." Mina's tears finally fell. Her father continued, "We will face whatever papers exist. But you must not return to prison because you fear the debt outside it." Mina pressed a hand to her mouth. "What do I do?" Her father's voice became steady like a lighthouse. "You stand in the truth, and you rebuild." Tarek nodded at Mina, then spoke into his phone, making calls, lender verification, fraud escalation, protective order procedures. Within hours, they confirmed it. Kareem had taken out a business loan with Mina's father's guarantor, then defaulted silently while pretending he was thriving. But they also confirmed something else. Kareem had falsified financial statements, which meant the lender had grounds to pursue Kareem directly, and Mina's father could be released from liability through fraud claims. The truth didn't just expose Kareem. It opened a door out of the trap. Days later, Mina sat across from her father at a small tea shop, the kind Kareem used to call too simple. Her father held her hand the way he had when she was a child learning to walk. "You sold the house." Her aunt had scolded. "You shamed your husband." Mina had replied calmly. "He shamed himself. I just stopped pretending." Now, sitting with her father, Mina felt the quiet power of starting over. Not glamorous, not easy, but clean. Her father smiled gently. "Where will you go?" Mina stared at her tea, then looked up with a steadiness that surprised even her. "I'm going to rent a small place near my work," she said. "I'm going to rebuild my savings. I'm going to take the course I postponed for years. And I'm going to stop apologizing for choosing peace." Her father nodded, proud. "That is my daughter." Kareem tried to call from detention, then from his lawyer, then from fake numbers. Mina blocked them all, because she finally understood closure isn't a conversation. It's a decision. Weeks later, Mina received a message from Tarek. Pawn shop footage confirmed. Identity fraud charges added. Lender is releasing your father from guarantor liability due to misrepresentation. You're both protected. Mina reread it twice, then exhaled like her lungs finally trusted air again. That night, she stood in her new apartment, small, quiet, clean. No marble countertops. No showy furniture. No lies. She placed her mother's framed photo on the shelf. "I lost the jewelry," she whispered, touching the frame. "But I found myself." Her phone buzzed again. A new message, unknown number. "Mina, it's Celine. I need to tell you something. I found something in Kareem's bag before he got arrested, and it has your name on it." Mina's heart jumped. She stared at the screen, the room suddenly too silent, because she had won the house battle. She had won the legal battle. But now, what else had Kareem planned before he got caught? Mina typed back with steady fingers. "What did you find?" And the 3 dots appeared. Typing,